So now there's proof that Michael Jordan has been bested by LeBron James. You gotta be kidding me. Cole Sports presents on the Daily. Well, welcome back to the channel. Cole Johnson's on the mic on the Daily's on Tap, presented by Cole Sports. And okay, the date of the week is Wednesday. That's right. It's Wednesday. You know what we talk about every single Wednesday. You love it, VIP. So do I. Let's get to it right now.
In a world where partial greatness is celebrated and total greatness is shunned, there stands to be a figure on the lips of those who love him and those who hate him. The inane comparisons to Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant continue and has existed since 2003. There is no end in sight, for the battle between those who unconditionally love and unconditionally hate him wages on. These are their stories. Welcome to the Bronsexual Confessions.
I was watching this video on YouTube, and I think it was AM Hoops, and I still can't believe I'm about to say this out of my mouth. The video was entitled Proof that there is irrefutable proof LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan. I said there is proof LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan.
You've got to be joking me.
I said there is proof LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan.
You for real?
Unfortunately, I am. So in this week's the conversation I had with a Bronsexual, basically, I eschewed the conversation that I had this week with a Bronsexual. You'll find out what happened next week. But instead of talking about that, I had to focus on this video. And in this video, you can find on YouTube, there were 3 reasons as to why there is proof LeBron James is a better basketball player than Michael Jordan. And he went from 3 to 1. And so number 3 was that rings don't always matter. Okay, let's get this completely out of the way. That is correct. Rings don't matter. And I get it. In the debate and dispute of the greatest of all time, normally people throw 6 for 6 with Michael. They don't throw 6 for 10 with Kareem, or 11 for 12 with Bill Russell, or 5 for 9 with Magic, or 3 for 5 with Bird. So I get why that argument is true, even though 4 of 10 is not the greatest of averages that you bat when it comes to greatest players and winning chips or closing deals in the finals. And yes, I understand. He balled out in 2015. He balled out in 2017. He balled out in 2018. He balled out in 2007. And I give him a mulligan for 2007. I don't even challenge that. I mean, basically, that team was him, his talent, and bubblegum that made it to the finals. And we knew before tip-off of Game 1 of 2007's NBA Finals that the Spurs had that one and in the bag. Science still delivered. That championship was theirs before Game 1 in AT&T Center in San Antonio started. But no, it's not for those reasons. It's for 2011. It's for 2011. It's for 2011. That's right. 2011, when not only did he get outplayed by Dirk Nowitzki in that NBA Finals, he got outplayed by a sixth man. So yes, rings aren't the thing, but that's not the only criteria that I have when it comes to rating him and Michael Jordan. And I say this in all honesty. There's things that LeBron has done that Michael hasn't done. For instance, he has scored more points in a career than Jordan has LeBron. He has dished out more dimes in a career than Jordan has LeBron. He has more rebounds than Jordan. Okay, fine. That is definite. However, Jordan has done things that LeBron will never do, such as, I don't know, shoot 80% from the free throw line in a given year. I mean, can we start there? Please, can we start there? You know, like win Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know. I know. Get one of these that Jordan has two of. Slam dunk trophies. You see, that has nothing to do with 6 for 6 with 6 Finals MVPs. And yes, I understand LeBron also has won Finals MVP for 3 different teams. Jordan only did it with one. Yes, that's an achievement that I can applaud, even if I don't want to truly applaud it, because it's like a participation trophy type of thing. But that's a discussion for another time. So, yes, rings aren't the thing simply because Robert Horry has more rings than Michael Jordan does without a loss in the finals. Now, is Robert Horry a greater player than Michael Jordan because he has 7 rings with no losses in the finals and Jordan only has 6? Of course not. So the criteria is number of victories in the finals, number of finals where he was the number 1 guy on the team, and what he did in those finals. Because I guarantee you that not one of those 6 finals did Michael Jordan get outplayed by a bench player. Now, before I get to the number 2 reason and rationale, don't forget to subscribe to this video and like this video too. And comment below, because I really do want to hear what you have to say. And don't forget that hit that notification bell so you can get any and every premiere that this channel provides. Now, the number 2 reason in this video that was listed, it was present bias. Now, the narrator talked about present bias from the standpoint of nostalgia. You know, we see Jordan and he's more mythical, especially since The Last Dance premiered earlier in the pandemic year of 2020. And, you know, and his career was from his pro career was from 1985, the 1985 season, 1985 to 2003 with a couple of retirements in between. So I get it. 13 full years, 2 abbreviated ones. Yeah. I can get the romancing thing. Yeah. And I sort of had that feeling because I grew up watching Bird and Magic, and I had an affinity toward that style and brand of basketball more than I did Jordan's. But at the same time, I did not down Jordan because he was providing something Bird and Magic did not. And that isn't present bias. That isn't past bias. That is eye bias. Oh, gosh. My four eyes saw the product, and I saw something in Jordan I had not seen before, and I still haven't seen since 1998, even from Jordan himself. So, present bias? No, let's flip the bias on its ear, because the bias is people are getting caught up in what they're seeing now. They are prisoners of the moment. NBA fan, and especially Bronsexuals, are prisoners of the moment, including the person who narrated the video. Prisoner of the moment. So, yes, LeBron won his fourth chip, but he won it on his 10th attempt. I'm sorry, the 5 times he bombed, because he was part of the team that bombed 5 of those 6 times, he has to take some ownership in it. In 2011, he has to take much of the ownership in it. So are you saying that you're going to eschew all of LeBron's L's in the finals? Yeah, that sounds ridiculous. You can't do it. So no, it's not present bias. It's LeBron James bias. And it doesn't come from LeBron. It comes from Bronsexuals. Now let's get to number one. And number one is what makes me laugh very hard. LeBron making his teammates better. So they talk about how he uplifts bench players and they become starter quality and starters become elite players. That basically was the sentiment of the narrator in the video. And meanwhile, Jordan, he didn't do anything with anybody outside of Pippen and Phil. So I guess when we look at teammates who played with LeBron, we don't look at when Chris Bosh caught wind of when Kevin Love was going to be traded from the Timberwolves to the Cavs. He placed a phone call to Kevin Love and said, quote, "You have to really be careful of playing with LeBron because it's something to be an option of his," close quote. So we're going to bypass the fact that Kyrie Irving, who thought he was going to be the number one guy on the Cavaliers, swallowed his pride, ended up being the number 2 guy, but only could swallow it for, 3 years before he bolted and went to Boston. So he's a great teammate there. No, LeBron is a lot. I mean, it's just simple and plain. He's a lot. And the overall assumption of Jordan needed Pippen and Jackson, but LeBron needed a basketball.
This whole thing stinks to high heaven.
Well, if that was the case, what happened last year? What happened in 2019 when it was LeBron and the basketball, and the team went from the 4 seed in January to being completely out the playoffs before March was over? That's what it's just. People are just ridiculous, man. Jordan was a different type of cat. It's just that simple. And he put pressure on teammates because he wanted them to elevate their play and their mindset and their heart to be basically as ruthless as he was when he got on the court, so that when those pressure situations happened, they wouldn't fold like his previous teams in 87 and 88 and 89 and 90 did. Because he learned from those lessons and said, okay, I think I'm going to have to be voracious when it comes to people in practice. I'm going to have to basically make it so tough in practice that when it comes to the games, you'd want to play in the games more than you do in practice. So am I saying that it was cool for him to sock Steve Kerr? Am I saying that it was cool that he insulted players? Am I saying that it was cool for him to just make people feel this small? No, I'm not saying it was cool. But it's sports. I mean, the stuff I heard Jordan say and even do in Bulls practice, I was on a football team in junior high school, and that locker room was worse than the Bulls locker room in the 90s. So get out of here and miss me with all of that and saying that Jordan isn't a guy who elevates players. Ask Horace Grant, ask Steve Kerr, ask John Paxson, ask Scottie Pippen. I mean, it, LeBron is a great talent. I'm not denying that at all. But so is Jordan. And it's time that people stop wiping their feet with Jordan's legacy in order to boost LeBron's. Both can be great in different ways, but if you're going to compare them one to another, it doesn't compute. It's that simple. They're two different players. They play two different styles. Forget they even play two different eras. And Jordan did things in a team-wide way. That was better. That was more magnanimous. That made more sense. That was more successful in the long run than LeBron has. No jokes. No ha-has. That's just cold, hard fact. But it doesn't mean that LeBron is bad. It just means that Jordan was better.
In a world where contradiction and hypocrisy exist, lies the truth to set us all free. Here is where we all get enlightened. This has been yet another installment of the Bronsexual Confessions.
Now, if you want this shirt that I'm wearing right now, you can find that in the description box below. And there's also, if you feel like me that LeBron James is not the greatest of all time, that shirt that you see right now on the screen is also in the description box below. And if you disagree with me and say, well, wait a minute, that video that you talked about, there is proof and he's right that LeBron is better than Jordan. Or if you agree with me that, yeah, LeBron is great, but Jordan is greater, I want to hear what you think. Like this video and comment below. I want to hear what you have to say, both positive or negative. And don't forget to subscribe to this video and channel and hit that notification bell. Well, thank you for your time. I love you, VIP. I am Cole Johnson, and this has been yet another installment of Cole Sports on the visual and on the daily.